Awesome. Thank you for your poll participation, everyone. You can go ahead and take a look at who else is joining the webinar today alongside you all. We have some job seekers, others who are looking to start an apprenticeship program. Great.
I'd love to see it. Okay, awesome. Welcome, everyone. My name is Stephen Whedon. I am the Director of Customer Success at Build
Great.
Within.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead. China, you something? Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Stephen Whedon. I have the pleasure of serving as the Director of Customer Success here at Build Within and serving as your host for today's webinar on building an in-house apprenticeship program. In today's business landscape, cultivating a skilled and dedicated workforce is key to sustained success. We have a special speaker today, Adriana Kemper from United Airlines. Adriana leads the United Innovate apprenticeship program, which has a goal of building a more inclusive pipeline for early career and early experience technology talent at United Airlines. Adriana has built her apprenticeship program from the ground up and will be sharing a lot of what she had to do to get this program started at United. Adriana is a senior manager within digital technology at United Airlines, leading technology's early career and training programs. She's been at United for over 6.5 years with roles in sustainability, analytics, market strategy, venture capital, and now technology. The Innovate program is her current priority, and she is always willing to connect with companies interested in developing a similar a technical apprenticeship program. We're super honored and excited to have Adriana here today. I'll let her introduce herself, and then she'll guide us through today's conversation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephen, and thank you so much, China, for having me here today. I am so excited to speak to all of you about the fantastic work that we're doing here at United Airlines. Like Stephen said, I've had a lot of experience at United, but I've only been in this role for about a year. And in this past year, we've done so much. And for those I saw in the poll are wanting to learn a little bit more about how to, manage through a little bit of that ambiguity to create an apprentice program, this is the right place to be because we dealt with a lot of that last year and have some best practices of challenges that we've encountered and how we've overcome those in order to have a really successful program in which we continue to plan on growing. With that being said, I'm happy to go through some of my materials. We'll talk a little bit about how we have how we started, how this fits in with the mission within United Airlines, and then we'll go through step by step and talk about how we built the program, some of the challenges that we faced, and how we've overcome those. With that being said, I will start sharing my screen and get this party started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adriana. Really excited for today's conversation.
Awesome. Cool. Can everyone see my screen, that quintessential question? Awesome.
Yes.
So first and foremost, United is committed to community-based hiring, and we are growing like crazy. If anyone has been reading the news, United recently, or like last year and the past couple of years, have just been ordering hundreds and hundreds of planes, which are huge assets to our company. That just signals continuous growth. We are the largest airline in the world, and we are on track to continue that exciting growth. But in order to do that, we need people. And so last year, we were on track to hire up to 15,000 new workers across our system, which includes technology, because I believe that technology is the center of our airline, and we need tech systems across every point of our customer and operational journey in order to make sure that we can get our customers from point A to point B safely and with the best experience in the world. In order to do so, United's really focused on building diverse platforms for individuals to start their career at United. One of our first programs as a company is called our Aviate program, in which we focus on hiring and developing pilots for our future school. It takes years to become a pilot, and so we've really tried to eliminate some of those barriers while keeping safety as our top priority. And the same with our Calibrate program. There is an industry need for more aircraft technicians, and we're eliminating some of the cost barriers in order to join that program too. And then lastly, what we'll talk about today is our Innovate program. And Innovate is a pathway to start your career at digital technology within United Airlines. Innovate has three ways that an individual can join. Today, we'll focus on our apprentice program and how we developed that. We also have opportunities for summer interns for folks that are looking to pursue a career or that is pursuing a degree in STEM. And then we also have our Early Career Digital Leadership Program, in which we call ECDLP. And this is for individuals that recently graduated college with a degree in STEM, and they join United in a rotational program. And every 6 months, they rotate into a new position until those 2 years are complete. And then they graduate into the business with the role of their choice, where they think, and we think that they'd be most successful in. However, today we'll focus in on our apprentice program. This program is 2 years. We work very closely with organizations like Europe and IC Stars to bring individuals in as a contractor. And then we work very closely with the apprentice and their manager every 30 days to see how they're doing. And if they are on track with our HR systems and are on track with manager expectations, we convert them to a full-time employee with all of the United's benefits, and they're in the apprentice program for a subsequent 18 months. Once they are complete with our apprentice program through Innovate, they stay at United in that role and have opportunity to continue to grow in their career or select another role within the company. Like I had mentioned, we currently partner with both Europe, IC Stars, and we work very closely with P33 to identify new talent providers to feed our program. We're continuing to grow, and so Europe and IC Stars have been absolutely fantastic, but we always have an eye on other potential technical providers to make sure that we have enough talent to feed that long-term growth. And in alignment to the DOL standards and all of the rules that the Department of Labor has aligned to being a registered apprenticeship, we have those roles available at United Airlines too. So some areas that we focus on particularly are software development, analytics, cybersecurity, systems architecture, project management, business analysts, and then UX UI. So all of these roles are various job families that exist within United Airlines, and we need apprentices to fill that talent demand. Well, within the program, we have a myriad of supporting structures and systems. The first being our Pluralsight. We leverage that as a tool to upskill technical learning. And so during the apprentice program, our apprentices are required to do a minimum of 4 hours a week of technical training. We've worked very closely with Pluralsight and leaders within United to develop really structured curriculums to make sure that they're learning the right stuff to get up to speed with everyone else at the company on that technical skill set. And equally as important as that technical skill set is that professional development. We work very closely with leaders and with our internal training teams to make sure that all apprentices get access to professional development work. And so here's an example of one of our vice presidents in digital technology, Stacy Ronkowski, talking to our Innovate population about her career journey and any tips and tricks she would give to those individuals to help accelerate their careers. And then lastly, we have Lunch and Learns, also what we know as a United 101 series. I like to think that airlines are arguably one of the most complex organizations that you can work for, ranging from managing money to making sure that our planes and our parts are in the right places to make sure our customers get from point A and point B on time. And so we make sure that leaders are coming into this organization and hosting many events so they have a holistic understanding of how the business is run, and that our technologists can go into their roles with a very strong understanding of how United operates. and they're very well attended. Now getting into the vegetarian meat of the conversation. Innovate is not just me working on this, but we have multiple business partners that we partner with very closely in order to get this launched and to accelerate our growth. So first and foremost, I work very closely with our finance partners to make sure that we have funding available to fuel our apprentice program. We'll talk about this on the next slide, but it's really important to have a really close relationship with finance, because traditionally, like how we onboard and recruit apprentices differ than how finance traditionally views onboarding new talent. And so we work really closely with them so then they understand this new business model and they can effectively and appropriately forecast that hiring demand for us in the future. Human resources, our HR friends are my best friends. They've helped us tremendously with all of the onboarding, making sure that they have very clear expectations for our apprentices and managers from day one on what to expect, and creating a very clear pathway for long-term conversion with United. We have a really great diversity, equity, and inclusion team that we partner with. They help us find new apprentice programs and partners, and help guide the strategy for where we want to go as a company regarding our early career pathway. So they work very closely also with the Aviate and Calibrate team to make sure that our hiring goals also align to United's hiring goals. It's very important to also make sure that our leadership within technology is bought in. I report to the Chief of Staff of our CIO, Jason Birnbaum, and Innovate and this program is a strategic priority for he and his leadership team. It's also a huge priority for the president of our company and Scott Kirby, our CEO. And so all of our leadership is completely bought into this concept, and they just continue to encourage growth and give us feedback to make this program even better. We work very closely with our learning and development team to make sure that we have trainings available at all the points across their apprenticeship journey and that they can get into those effectively. And then naturally, we just always have to have legal as a friend and on board. Having them by our side through the procurement process with our tech or our talent suppliers is great. And similar to finance, just getting them on board and having them understand the language of this new recruiting process has just been absolutely essential. And now that they know what to look for in potential contracts and how to manage through that effectively.
Awesome. Adriana, a quick question for you here. So curious, like, it sounds like you got so much buy-in from the top down at United, but I'm curious, like, what were some of those barriers that you were facing when you were first launching this program? And like, what advice would you offer to someone who's trying to get that executive buy-in at their organization?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Thinking of like getting buy-in at the executive level, just really, I recommend two concepts. From buy-in top down, I think if your company is, talking about eliminating degree requirements, talking about having a more diverse workforce, or talking about, meeting talent at scale, these are all important things that a lot of companies are talking about, but don't know really how to implement. And an apprentice path or an apprentice program is absolutely the way to go to. What we've done is we've tested it out with a few individuals first. We had a few individuals from Europe and IC Stars join on a 1 or 2 level, and had some leaders that were really engaged and wanted to get that additional support, and also were at the lower level bought into this concept really closely. And once our leaders saw the success and the impact that those few individuals made to the company, they were fully bought in and wanted to increase that program at scale and then have a specific team dedicated to leading that. The part 2, which I'll talk about on this slide, is as you continue to grow and scale, the biggest barrier is finance. And I love our finance partners, and I'm very fortunate to have some financial experience in my past. But really, the roadblock is we have all this talent, but individual teams don't have the headcount yet to grow with this apprentice program. And so when they get a new headcount, it's, do I want someone with 5 to 10 years of experience already, or do I want someone that I want to grow and develop? everyone wants to grow and develop, but sometimes they want to take the easy way out. And so we've eliminated that barrier by having a centralized headcount and strategy approach. My team owns all of the headcount, owns all of the salary for all 3 programs for 2 years. We lend out that support and the help to our teams. And so with that, they continue to train and develop that talent without necessarily having to go through finance themselves to ask for that additional budget. And we also take on all of the recruiting, the hiring, the onboarding, and the HR processes. So all the manager has to do is focus on training and developing that apprentice and not all of the back end work.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's so insightful. And like I love the structure that you have built at United. Like it's truly a win-win. You're making the like overhead and like hiring much easier for these departments, and then also providing all of these resources to coach and guide the apprentices when they're on this journey.
Absolutely. And we just talked about this slide just then, but really, if you're looking to develop a similar program, highly recommend having one team lead all of the headcount, and then working closely with that leadership team working with your leadership team to identify where talent might need to be placed strategically, and then working with finance to make sure that your team can provide that cost. Second word of advice and word of wisdom from United Airlines is developing really strong relationships with your community partners and organizations that are looking to develop relationships with you too. We have been working with Europe and IC Stars as a company for years. And when we were looking to strengthen that relationship within digital technology, that foundational relationship was essential. And they knew the type of talent that succeeds at United. We work very closely with them to say like, hey, for let's say our cybersecurity program, we need more training and development for day one in understanding a little bit of Python, because they'll do that on day one. Because we have that strong relationship with them, they're able to amend their curriculum before people join United to make sure that our talent comes in on day one United ready. In conjunction to that, we're always looking for new partners as we continue to grow rapidly. Europe and IC Stars have been absolutely phenomenal, but there's always other partners available and out there. And so we've developed a very rigorous diligence playbook to ensure that their curriculum aligns to what you do on the job at United. Understanding that we will continue to train and develop that apprentice, we want to make sure that everyone comes in at an equitable level at United, and then they just continue to grow on the same track together. Any questions so far from the audience or Stephen?
Looks like no questions in the chat, but this is phenomenal information, Adriana. I feel like you're really helping a lot of us understand how like a large corporation like United like went through these hurdles to get your apprenticeship program started. And I'm personally learning so much from you, and this has been great. Thank you.
I'm honored. Next, sometimes it can feel hard enough to get all the apprentices on board and in the door. And getting resources to support that. Trust me, we feel it too. But I think it's really important to have a dedicated team to lead and manage this too. So like I said, I started this role a year ago. My role is also a year new, because we currently have across all 3 programs over 130 people in the program. And in the summer, we have up to 180. And we need a few people fully dedicated to managing our apprentices, hosting those relationships with those third-party community partners, identifying where strategically United apprentices need to grow and what we need to hire for. And also all of those events and the technical training that we talked about earlier. We need people to build that out for our apprentices. So my team is currently comprised of 3 people. Myself, the overall program manager, where I lead the relationships with our third-party partners and supplier and identify that talent and come up with a larger strategic outcome. I have a curriculum manager who works very closely with our Pluralsight partners and potentially other technical development partners to make sure that we have a really strong, rigorous curriculum for our apprentices. And then third, I have an events coordinator who plans monthly meetings, who plans the United 101. We have community building meetings and networking opportunities with individuals. And that experience throughout that time is really important. So then people feel like they're a part of a community and they don't feel excluded. Oftentimes, we've noticed with our apprentice program, they come in shy because there might be one or two of them, or they are a little shy because everyone around them has 10 years of experience and a really prestigious college degree. We like to just reiterate that they're awesome, they're worth it, they earn their position here, and there are many other people that are in the same place, and we want to make sure that they feel that community and have visibility and access to leadership, unlike some other teams. And so we think that's very important, and it's been super successful, and would recommend that for all of you too. Next area, as you all had noticed earlier, we have a 6 months as a contractor, and then you're a subsequent 18 months on the job within the Innovate program. We've aligned all of our standards very closely to the standards set forth by the Department of Labor, but we wanted to make sure that that was very transparent with our apprentice and even more transparent with our managers. And so in collaboration with our HR team, over those 6 months to get that full-time United offer, they've created what we call a 30, 60, 90, 180, but essentially every 30 days, the manager and the apprentice connect to discuss performance. And HR determined this is what performance should look like at 30 days. And this is what performance should look like at 90 days. And this is what it should look like at 180, et cetera. This alleviates any biases and ensures that everyone is evaluated in an equitable manner. So then we can optimize the number of conversions at the end of that 6 months. We forecast that every apprentice that joins United day one as a contractor, they have a spot at the end of those 6 months. It doesn't need to be a competitive process. We have a job for everyone if they do well. And we want to make sure we eliminate like I mentioned, any biases to make sure that they do well and managers are fully on board. For the remainder of those 18 months, expectations continue to be clear, and we've aligned those very closely to the competencies set forth by the Department of Labor.
A common challenge that we hear from employers that are interested in starting a registered apprenticeship program at their organization is like, oh, who's a good manager to lead and manage and grow our apprentices? Curious, like for United, like what are some of like the characteristics of a good manager for an apprentice?
I love that question. To me, characteristics of a good manager or a good leader is quite frankly like empathy. And these are managers that are going to have to spend time with this apprentice and help them learn, grow, and develop. And having a sense of empathy towards their development journey is essential. So this manager will spend time with them training, one-on-ones, have to be honest and give some harsh feedback sometime in a constructive manner and spend that time with them. So an empathetic leader is absolutely number one. While we source roles for our apprentices too, myself and our HR team do some background diligence on everyone as well. So we make sure that our leaders are in good standing, they're existing people leaders, they're located in Chicago and come in pretty frequently. We don't want fully remote. We want to make sure that there's some in-person collaboration. And then lastly, no, that's it. Yeah, sorry, there was no lastly. I'm sorry. But we do a little bit of background diligence, but we absolutely want to make sure that leaders know what they're signing up for and the value that they get at the end of the day. And we do that through multiple information sessions. And so as we recruit roles, I send out a Microsoft Forms to ask people to sign up or to create various roles. I also host multiple information sessions or have one-on-ones or go to leaders team meetings to talk about what this program is and give a little description of the type of talent and also bring in some talent to talk about their experience. So when they sign up for an apprentice, they know the expectations of what is to come, and from them, the expectations that we'll ask of them as a leader and a manager. Does that answer your question, Stephen?
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. And I agree, like the empathy component is key here. Having someone that is like able to like help coach and develop and sometimes give a little more into someone's growth. But the beauty of how apprenticeships are structured with the related technical instruction component, the like learning, is that they're also learning all of this amazing curriculum that they're able to apply in their day-to-day jobs as well to then perform better and grow within their roles and then the apprenticeship program. But yeah, thanks for clarifying that for us.
Of course. And if anyone has questions, please use the chat. I figured out how to pull it up. I'm a Teams girly, so this is new for me. Awesome. The next, it sounds simple, but it's really not. But it is, and it can be. It's really finding the right role for the right person with the right leader. And it feels like a big game of chess or like a big puzzle that you put together, but it works out at the end. We work very closely with our leadership team to identify strategic growth areas in the organization to make sure that we're supplying roles in the right strategic areas. So once we find those roles, we work very closely with our bootcamp providers to make sure to understand that they have talent that is excelling in, let's say, a software development field. We'll then take that individual and have them interview for the software developer job within United to make sure that the manager believes that they'd be a good fit on their team, not just from a technical perspective, but also from a cultural perspective. And then once we get all of our ducks in a row and everyone is happy there, then we move forward with an offer. One thing I had mentioned in the last, but just another friendly reminder, host many information sessions so that our leaders are fully aware of what they're signing up for, and they have an expectation of the skills that people should come in as. Oftentimes, technologists hire individuals with 4 to 5 years of technology experience and expect people to just be on the ground running, and all they have to really learn is the various environments within technology and the documentation that's unique to your organization. This is different. People have to spend a little bit more time on that development and get them attuned to the model of, I'm going to do something, watch me. I'm going to do something with you. Let's do it together. I'm going to watch you do something, and next, you're going to do this alone and I'll review it. That takes more time and more development, but over time, as you consistently do that with new tasks, the apprentice will be fine while as they continue to train and develop and then do that on the job. But we're not used to that dynamic culturally. And so changing that culture internally is absolutely something that we do during this stage.
Yeah, it almost reminds me of being an educator, like an I do, we do, you do approach, guiding them through that journey with their development.
Absolutely.
How do you all find like the right talent for the right roles? Like, what is your process for like recruiting for participants?
Great question. We get very detailed job descriptions from our leaders, and HR combs through it, and we work very closely with that leader to make sure that the expectations of that role fit what an apprentice would look like in that role. We then work with our providers, so currently IC Stars in Europe, and identify talent that studied that track or is currently excelling in that pathway and believe would be a good fit for United. And then we move forward with the interview process. Moving forward with new bootcamp or RTI providers, we've created, and I'll speak to this in just a moment too, almost like a diligence form on the curriculum. And so if we're looking for, I'll use the example software engineer again, we want to make sure that they're going over courses that are relevant to United in their curriculum and getting that entry-level baseline experience that we would expect they have some knowledge of, maybe not experience in, but knowledge of that program. So when they start at United on day one, they can start learning and absorbing knowledge on their own, or like on their own self-paced, on their own self-pace. So that's primarily how we go about finding the right role with the right talent.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's super helpful context.
Of course. Awesome. I'll continue heading in. And so we've got a few more slides here, but we formally launched in 2023. And so like almost a year ago. And it has been an incredible journey. And we've had so many hiccups along the way. Half the stuff that I just talked about, it wasn't because we are pretty like proactive and forward thinking, but some of those we kind of like learned as we failed. And it's like, oh crap, we needed to do more diligence on managers. I need to have more information sessions. We need to comb through the roles a little bit more, intensely to make sure that managers' expectations aren't too high. We need to have good training from day one for our apprentices. And so those are things that we've learned along the way. And moving forward, we continue to plan on learning more because the 2024, is exponential growth. Now that we have a strong foundation and we have great relationships internally and great relationships externally, we need to feed that growth and get more apprentices in the door and help them succeed long-term through their career. So thinking of like, we have been setting ourselves up for success to become a registered apprentice program. We're working very closely with Build Within and the Department of Labor to make sure that United is equipped to be a registered apprentice so that by the time everyone completes Innovate, they have a certification from the Department of Labor saying that they are a registered apprentice and have this new credential to add to their resume and all of the experience that they gained at United. And what we're doing and what we've done is just making sure that we are aligning our roles to our business demand. At the end of the day, all of our jobs are to make money. And we want to make sure that our roles that we're hiring for align very closely to the roles the business needs. And so we're not just hiring to hire, we're hiring with the purpose of fueling our growth in strategic areas. And then on day one, we need to make sure that we have ample training for on-the-job learning. We have very structured curriculum for all pathways, and it's kind of like a college degree. You're going to learn a little bit about everything, even if you're not doing that particular skill on that job. You should learn a little bit of everything to know those environments. And then your manager will also supplement additional learning for the specific skill that you need to develop to do your job effectively. And so we make sure that all apprentices have the opportunity and the safe space to do learning on the job and not on the weekends. They're doing that while they get paid. As I had mentioned earlier, we worked very closely with our HR team to make sure that we have consistent and structured evaluations. This is essential because we want to make sure everyone's set up for success and that there are no biases, either from the manager side or the apprentice's side. And it's how they're performing and what they're doing, not just because, oh, I like this person, we're going to keep them, or I don't like this person because they got sick on Tuesday. It's no, they're doing their job and they're doing their job well. And we want to create a safe space and an opportunity for 100% of individuals to convert. And then lastly, really working closely with Build Within here. Build Within, the team, and Stephen and your team have just been essential to helping us consolidate all of our requirements and making sure that we're on track to meet those Department of Labor recommendations. Quite frankly, between friends, I was so scared when I heard of working with government agencies and doing this because it's a lot of paperwork. But quite frankly, Build Within has just made it so easy. We're connecting our training to their platform and getting managers onboarded to the platform so they put in their competencies into a one-stop shop. That all gets consolidated and gets sent to the Department of Labor. And so my biggest concern that I didn't have time to do has just absolutely been eliminated with this additional support. And you all are subject matter experts in this field and able to help consult us on what to do best in order to make sure that every one of our apprentices are set up for success to get this certification.
Thank you so much, Adriana. And we're so grateful to partner with United on this journey. It's been incredible learning about like the power of the Innovate program and all of the work you're doing with your apprentices. Like I continuously inspired every time our teams collaborate, and really appreciate your partnership with Build Within. What have been like the big successes of the program that you've noticed to date?
Um, my heart says just seeing everyone convert and hearing their stories. We had one apprentice from Europe that got his L7 offer, and he called me with just the biggest smile on his face. And he said, last time I was on a plane, I was leaving Honduras and coming to Chicago to like live with my grandparents and start my life here. And that was the last time I was on a plane. And now I work for an airline and get to start my career and get to fly around the world and go visit my family again. And it's just crazy how this world turns around. And he's like, I never expected myself to be here. And this has just been the best opportunity. And that is just one of hundreds of stories that I get to hear and be a part of every single day. And so to me, that is the biggest success. It's the people and seeing their growth and development. And I can't wait for one of them to be my boss one day. Outside of that, we increased the program last year. We had over 44 new hires from our apprentice pathway, which is just exponential growth. I think we were able to give offers to all of but like two, I think, which is fantastic. And like I said, we had offers for everyone. It was really just that competency based. So really huge success retention and conversion rates. Our leaders love our apprentices and are consistently meeting with them and want more. I am getting emails every single day of individuals, leaders wanting another apprentice. And it's not I have to beg people to grab someone to take it. It's the opposite. We need more and we need to hire faster and more people at a time. And the demand has just been absolutely incredible. And then externally, I think we've done a really great job creating the structure internally, and United wants to help other companies create a similar program for them. There is so much great talent in these ecosystems, and once you can create a team and a training foundation, this is the best way to advance growth and accelerate your team's growth, in my opinion. And we are also a large company and have these hurdles, so happy to share any thoughts and what we've done and help share that knowledge. It will be harder for us because there's going to be more demand for talent with our current providers, but that's absolutely what we're trying to fuel. We want more companies to make sure that talent is able to get jobs after they go through these training programs. And I want to have a friendly competition because like United's awesome, but competition with you guys is only going to fuel a better marketplace and make all of our programs collectively more better. So I think those are the top highlights from my mind.
I love that. And I really appreciate your drive to really position United as like an industry leader here when it comes to like larger corporations launching apprenticeship programs.
Yeah.
It's great.
So I'll put my email in the group chat here, but anyone feel free to reach out to me, United. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions about how we did this. If you know, just thinking about things, you want us to talk to some people about how we do things, we're around. We're about I'd also love to learn from you. That's how we got to this place, is seeing how other companies did that with our United touch. And you'll absolutely have the same with yours. You want to see how United does it or other companies are doing it, and add your own touch because it's going to be unique to your company. I think I have one more slide if we have time, or two more.
We could do a few questions as well.
Oh, fantastic. One thing that we do when we're assessing new partners, we've kind of looked at top things that we're interested from our bootcamp providers. And like I said, I like to be fair in evaluations, not just I'm very biased when it comes to pretty decks, but I can't make a multi-million-dollar investment on a beautiful deck. So I use numbers and math because that's how my mind likes it. And so we determined what's important to us. So location, curriculum, all of these things. This is just for illustrative purposes. And for each pathway and like what they need to be trained on, we convert their numbers over here. So we have a very ambiguous score. And then we look at that score and we say like, hey, we're not comfortable with this area. We recommend, having a class similar to this. So it addresses this point. And then we feel more comfortable pursuing a relationship with you to bring talent in. And then we also do the same with our current providers. It's like, hey, we think we need a little bit more training in this specific area. Let's work together to make sure that the next generation of talent that you bring in the door addresses all these key points.
So,
And then I think there was a question. Was there, Stephen?
yeah, one question that I'm curious about. So we talked a bit about like characteristics of a good manager of an apprentice and like that empathy piece. When we met in person with the Chicago Apprenticeship Network event, I was so inspired by like all of the mentorship that you provided to your apprentices. How do you like manage mentorship internally with your program, and like what roles do mentors play in like the success of the apprentices in their apprenticeship?
Great question. I like to say my job is like a program manager and I'm everyone's second fun boss. And so they can come to me with any questions, comments, or concerns as it relates to their role or their program. Oftentimes people will come to me with like, I want to do this, but I don't know how to go about it professionally. And I want to ask these questions, but I don't know how to go about it professionally. So they're more than welcome to come to me and ask, those questions as it relates to the program or their jobs. But we also, within their first month, pair everyone with a mentor for those first 6 months. And then we ask everyone to get an additional mentor. We have many United mentorship programs that people can sign up for. And so by the time that they graduate after the 2 years, they will have at least 2 United mentors. And I encourage everyone to have more. I probably have 5 or even more. I can't even count now because I just go to people for questions, guidance, leadership. And I want to make sure our apprentices have that resource too. Additionally, we're building out a more robust technical mentorship program. And so I don't know if anyone else on the call here is a technologist. I used to code in SQL in my data analytics days and tried learning Python. And I would go to like a person or two to ask, hey, can you review my code quickly? This keeps bugging. I don't know how to do this one function and it's really driving me nuts and Google's not giving me the answer that I think I need. And so we want to create communities for people to quickly answer and ask questions in like low stress environment, rather than having to always inundate your boss with I've got an extra space in my code and that's why it's bugging, and creating communities around that. So there's the professional development mentorship side, but we're also building out that robust technical mentor side.
Gotcha. No, that's super beneficial. Another question that we get from employers that are trying to start apprenticeships is how can we ensure that apprentices will help fulfill the skill gaps within our organization? How would you respond to that?
To help fulfill the skill gaps within the organization?
Fill skill gaps.
Great question. I think what really excites me about early career programs is we're not necessarily just teaching one skill. We're teaching people how to learn and apply that learning very quickly. And so right now, there's a lot of talk about generative AI, and there's a lot of talk about like automation, and there's a lot of talk about like building system reliability and migrating to the cloud. We are teaching people how to learn in those new unique skills. And so we might have individuals that have been coding, like United's a company that's over 100 years old. We were adopting technology when technology was being adopted, and some of our systems are just as old as our company. And we also have some of the newest and brightest systems too. And so since we are training people from day one and not with that historical knowledge of systems architecture, we're teaching people those new skills. And so we're identifying talent that's going to use stuff for the next 5 years. And then in 5 years, they're going to continue to have that, willingness and ability to learn something else to address that skill shortage of that particular area. And also, it's a very fast and easy way to onboard people too. And so there's a lot of resources from the training and development side that you have to build out. But once you get that structured, there is no limit to the number of talent that you can bring into your door. P33 has, if you're located in Chicago, they have an event next week with a supplier pitch that talks about all the various organizations in the Chicagoland area that have apprentice programs. All of those apprentice programs have hundreds and hundreds of people go through their program a year. And so if you're seeing that skills gap or you're not seeing enough talent in the marketplace, there are so many resources and opportunities with those boot camp partners that you can work with to find the right talent for the right skill. And you can also, sponsor classes. It's like, I need software developers to learn AWS. I work with ServiceNow, and I need people that are ServiceNow subject matter experts, or Salesforce. There are programs for that because they're going to recruit people from their respective audiences and populations and train them on that exact skill so then they can join your company. Stephen, does that answer your question?
Yes, no, spot on. Thank you so much, Adriana.
Of course. I'm just so excited to be here. I love talking about this.
Yeah, we're so excited as well. Appreciate you walking us through like some of the like numbers and metrics that you're using when you're like tracking the like success of your program. But at the end of the day, like, how does United define success for your Innovate apprentices? Like, what matters most to you all when it comes to the success of your apprenticeship program?
I mean, we naturally determine, and this is a long-term goal. Our success is going to be long-term retention and growth within the company. And so right now, our apprentices haven't even completed the 2 years. We've had many complete the first 6 months and are in that in the 18-month subsequent phase. And so like everyone's super successful right now and we're doing really well. But long-term, after they graduate from Innovate, I want them to be the next leader at this company. And that's going to take years to see that return on investment. But quite frankly, success right now is we're able to quickly get talent to meet short-term and long-term talent needs because we are growing like crazy and we need specific skill sets to match our long-term growth trajectories. And quite frankly, also at the same time, like it's a business need. But at the same time, we're like really getting a lot of ancillary benefits, like really diversifying our workforce. And we have we're able to bring more women technologists, people of color technologists, and really change the dynamic of not only hiring individuals with college degrees, but we're able to create a very diverse background. And that's only going to help as we create more innovative tools of the future to better serve our customers.
That's incredible. Well, Adriana, thank you so much. Any closing thoughts or that you'd like to add, or any other questions from our attendees today? I'm just checking. Awesome, not seeing any questions. But Adriana, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you host today's webinar. I learned so much. Really appreciate you and your partnership with Build Within. It's been a pleasure having you today.
Awesome. It was a pleasure being here and talking to you all. Like I said, please don't be shy. I promise I don't bite because we're virtual anyway. And if you are located in Chicago and want to take a visit to the Willis Tower and meet some of our fantastic apprentices, please come through. Always willing to share any words of wisdom or advice. We're really excited to be here, and I'm just really excited to see where this world goes, or I mean, our program goes. And then also, if this inspired you and you're looking to build a program, please let us know. We want to partner and hear about it. This is really exciting work, and it's life-changing, literally. So please share the stories with us. With that, I yield my time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure. See you.
Thank you so much for your insights today, Stephen and Adriana. Everyone, like Adriana said, we are available if you have questions. Adriana's email is adriana.kemper@united.com. You can reach us using the chat on our website or email us at info@builtwithin.com. Our next apprenticeship webinars are up on the screen. You can register for more information at apprenticeshiphubs.com. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.